listening to the JCA Sports Podcast on Spotify and Anchor. To the JCA Sports.
Yeah, what's going on? Ooh, I feel a little too loud. What's going on, everybody? The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. Like I said, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We also have TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Jose Contreras, myself,
Hey.
Eric Avila. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? You better give us a little bit more energy, bro. That was a little bit.
Was it? I thought it was.
Yeah.
What up, everybody? What's good?
What up, baby? What it do?
What it do? What's going on, everybody? Yeah, another episode. Yeah, last week we were in a little hiatus. I think we were all still kind of hungover from our fantasy football draft. We had plenty of it too, as well. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're back. We're we're trying to do this. Hey, there you go. What's up, comadre? First one right there. Yeah, we're back. We're giving you guys another episode here with you guys, talking a lot of football, a lot of Bears conversation, simply because it's the last preseason game this weekend coming up on Saturday.
I don't know who that. I don't know who that girl Paulina Martinez is, but she's kind of hot. I'm thinking I'm
Oh
shooting
my
a shot.
god, bro!
I'm about to slide
Anyways,
I'm about to slide in those DMs in a bit. Just saying.
you do what you need to do with all 20 of your kids that you got, homie. Make sure if you can fit 21, you're all good.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But yes, the Bears' final preseason game is on Saturday, and we got news. We got a lot of news to talk about, especially for the Chicago Bears. First things first. What's most important, though, Jose, is that Roquan Smith is back. He decided to, hey, you know what? Might as well just play. Apparently, there is a rift between him and the organization. Apparently, they haven't came to terms on the contract negotiations. At the end of the day, the real question is, did Ryan Poles looks like the good guy coming out of this negotiation period with Roquan Smith, and Roquan Smith not getting a new contract?
I'm about to choke. Oh, damn.
You good?
Just like Ryan Poles did, not get him that contract, right? Look,
wow.
here's the
thing.
It's great that Roquan's back. He had to play. He was going to play. It's good for the Bears. It's good for the defense. It's good for Roquan Smith. Why? Because he's still playing for a new contract. Okay, this is his last year. This is his fifth year, his last year, and we need to see exactly what this guy can do. I know, you know what? Let me backtrack. We know what this guy can do. Let's see what the Bears can do and how much they can offer him. Hopefully, it's something that will get him to stay, because I think he deserves all the money he's asking for. He's been by far the best defensive player consistently. He's gotten better every single year, and he has not shown any sign of slowing down. I think he's only going to get better. You surround better guys around them. This coaching staff, this regime, so far from what we see in the preseason, looks like they look a lot more legit than the regime before them. And that's not saying a lot because they were a bunch of clowns, but it is a step in the right direction. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm happy he's back, Eric. But let's see what comes from it. You know what I mean? Because again, if we don't re-sign Roquan Smith, what's the point?
No, you're absolutely right. What is the point, right? And to be honest, if Ryan Poles didn't have a John from if Ryan Poles didn't have a plan for Roquan Smith, knowing that he's entering his final season as a Chicago Bear from his rookie contract, if he wasn't going to be part of the plan, he would have probably been dealt by the draft, maybe sooner, or even after the draft, see what else he could get out of it. I honestly do believe that he is part of the Bears plan, but I just feel like negotiation, the pattern wise from him and Roquan Smith are too far apart. Maybe this is also an opportunity for Roquan to prove himself. Maybe he is worth that money. Look, he's not a linebacker that, sacks the quarterback as much. He has great plays here and there. He'll go side to side, east and west, north and south. He'll stuff the run. He does everything that a prototypical linebacker that you need and want should have to build on this team. He just doesn't sack the quarterback that much. Maybe because of the defense that he was in previously didn't allow him to. Plus, when you have Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, Robert Quinn, and all these other players that came through too as well, maybe that wasn't part of his plan, or that wasn't part of his MO, or that wasn't part of the game plan that they wanted Roquan to be part of. It's mainly more tackle for loss, all that stuff. So it's one of those situations to where we love to see Roquan Smith back. Roquan with this defense obviously means everything to the Chicago Bear defense. He is one of the pillars that you do need to take to Arlington Heights if you go to Arlington Heights, but not only just for the future, but also for the present. And I'm glad that he decided to take that chance and bet on himself, and for him to deserve that contract, because he does deserve it. But Ryan Poles, the one thing you just said it, he stuck to his laurels, he stuck to his motto, he stuck to what he believes in, and he's doing things his way. So at least he knows how to take the responsibility on taking one in the chin, but yet still looking good coming out on top.
You talking about Ryan Poles looking good coming out on top? How?
And the fact that he stood by what he said. He didn't cave in. He didn't.
Okay, that's fine, Eric. He didn't cave in. He stuck by his laurels. Blah blah blah. What good is that doing for our Chicago Bears? When
Roquan's playing, isn't he?
He's playing now, yes. Okay. But if at what cost if he's not going to be here at the end of the year? This team is not winning the Super Bowl this year.
I understand that.
This team is barely going to make the playoffs. So, teams know Roquan's situation. They're not going to give up the farm for this man, so to speak. You know what I mean? The Bears won't get a lot at the trade deadline unless it's a team who's really desperate and needs a team that knows they could win a championship this year and needs somebody that caliber at that position. Otherwise, we're going to lose them for pretty much nothing. Let's be honest. And so, yes, good on Ryan Pace, I guess, for sticking to his guns.
Poles.
Or whatever. Same Ryan Pace, Ryan Poles. I tell you what, if Justin Fields doesn't pan out, and Roquan Smith leaves, might as well call him Ryan Pace. But
no. Hell no.
Why, Eric?
Not even.
He didn't draft neither of these guys. I get it, but your job is to be a better talent evaluator. Your job is to be a better talent developer. If you can't do it with these two guys, one who is a proven hot commodity in Roquan Smith, and the other who's supposed to be a proven commodity in Justin Fields, because we've seen it in college, then it's like, you know what I mean? And that being said, like as I was saying before you interrupted me, right? Ryan Poles, this doesn't look good on him, period. He should have paid Roquan Smith his money. What message are you sending to the guys in the back who want to work their ass off for a position for more money when they just know that, well, look, Roquan, he played his ass off. He did everything he was supposed to do, and they're not rewarding him for that. What free agent is going to want to come here after seeing that? It makes no sense. If you're Ryan Poles, you shot yourself in the foot here. Like, they better come out with a deal before this season ends. They better come out with a deal before the season ends. At least, if you're not going to do it right away, I understand why, because basically Roquan Smith called you out. Fine, whatever, good. But make sure you do it before the season ends, because if not, again,
he's walking away.
He's walking away.
And I get
what looks worse? What looks worse, Eric? The fact that you let someone like that go for nothing, or your pride, or the fact that or the fact that at least I stuck to my laurels. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, look, you have to. I mean, at this point, you kind of have to go what the GM goes and says, right? Like he's the one that he's the one that with the plan and with the idea on what to do and how to build the Chicago Bears for not just right now, but for the future. You know, maybe near future or just the future down the line if he has that time and opportunity. We everybody says that this is an overhaul and a half that he has to do. There's reports for the cuts that were that were yesterday. The cuts that he had to do, he already has cut Ryan Pace's team to like 29 players, and the only players that are kind of left over that are well known are Fields, Mooney, Roquan, and what's his name, the cornerback Johnson. That we know of, and then everybody else that's in between the lines like Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borum and players like that, Mustafers and Whitehairs, but it's like it's that the talent lacks somewhere, lack of better of. But you, in a way, where I see it, where you're coming from, you're right. The fact that the contract wasn't settled for Roquan Smith during this off season is a bad look for Ryan Poles. But at the same time, it's just like what have you done? Because they had a better linebacker in Indianapolis, or at least should I say, Matt Eberflus had a better linebacker in Indianapolis that it's supposed to be the comp for him and Roquan Smith. I can't think of his name. What's his name? Leonard, is it? Denarius Leonard, I think, isn't that the linebacker for the Colts?
Yeah.
And it's like he does a lot of more. He's the one that gets to the quarterback, and he plays that linebacker position that is going to be the Roquan Smith in this new defense. So I feel like if we get the same old Roquan Smith, then yeah, you're right. The contract should be before the season ends, but I don't see that happening. I see this, him playing out throughout the end of the season. And remember, they still can use the franchise tag on him, where the money is fully guaranteed.
Same old Roquan Smith is a Pro Bowl type player, Eric.
Oh, I know. No, I definitely know. I mean, to us, he's a Pro Bowl player, but to the NFL, he still isn't. He's not up there yet. He was snubbed last year.
Snubbed. That doesn't mean he didn't deserve it. He was snubbed.
And I understand that, but the only reason why we think he was snubbed is because we see him year in and week in and week out for the last 4 years, and he still hasn't been recognized yet because the one thing that he's lacking in is the rushing of the quarterback. So maybe he could prove it. I hope he does. I hope he gets paid. I hope he's here for the next 6-7 years because this dude's only 25. I do want to see him. He's a pillar of the defense. He's that guy. But the value of what people think of the position that he is, it's not as special as the wide receiver, the quarterback, the cornerback, the defensive end, and so on and so forth. The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, guys. Make sure you hit the little bell next to the John Konavi Facebook post when we have our live shows. That way you guys get notified on not only our shows, but Jose's shows with his brother Ricky and Sports Trip Live, which is going to be coming up right after this podcast, and also the EFP podcast, which should be making its appearance sometime this week too. Hopefully, see what the time says. And also, you could join us on the chat too as well, or come join us on the link. The link is provided in the chat. You guys are more than welcome to hop on and talk sports with us, talk about the Chicago Bears and the Roquan Smith situation, or even right now that we're going to talk about that we're heading into this, that we're still talking about Chicago Bears. And Matt Eberflus came out today, Jose, saying that the first team is going to play all the way up to halftime. Yeah. Is that a good move or a bad move for Matt Eberflus and the Bears?
Good move all the way. Is the last preseason game, so you want this is you want to fine tune it right before the regular season, Eric. I love it. Why shield these guys? What's the point? I get injury. There's the risk of injury, but injuries are going to happen regardless. Injuries are going to happen week 1, so why risk it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's the thing too. It's also a new offensive unit. I don't know if you mentioned that, but it's also a new scheme, a new thing. They've only played like what you've been listening and watching the games for the last 2 preseason games, and so have I. And I think they've only played 14 offensive snaps.
Yeah, and they looked relatively good in all those snaps. I like the way Justin Fields looks. I like the way he's throwing the ball. I like the schemes and everything that they're doing. The play action with the running backs. I like it. I like what I see. I see a difference between Eberflus and Nagy. Now, again, it's not hard. You just gotta be a competent coach, and you'll look way better than Matt Nagy. I get that, but it's still good to see, right? John DePlaio, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Johnny Boy? Here, and he's on the Big's Creation comments page on Facebook, guys. If you guys are looking for customized T-shirts for a party or any type of theme, go to the Big's Creation Facebook page. They have stores in Munster and also in Lansing, and send them and tell them that the JCA Sports Podcast sent you guys there.
Yep.
What do you say?
Professional athletes making millions, make them play. Yeah, absolutely. And then CP, what's up, CP? Also in the comment. I heard they're going to play most of the final. Yep, they're going to play a whole half. So definitely one I'm going to be tuning into. I mean, I kind of have to, but definitely one I'm really going to be invested in for sure. From a fan standpoint. But honestly, I'm excited to see because I want to see what this team can do. I'm impatient. I'm that guy that
me too.
I know if there's spoilers somewhere. I'm gonna be like, oh, I want to, I'm gonna be tempted to see. I'm a really impatient guy. So I really want to see how these Bears look this season. I'm hoping they look great. And we're going to get a little glimpse of it, a tiny glimpse of it on Saturday. So I'm excited. Now, it all depends. Let's be also wary here. We don't know we don't know how many snaps or how much the Browns will play their starters. So the Bears could be playing a whole bunch of backups and look really good. So we still got to take it with a grain of salt. But still, we get to see what Eberflus and that regime has been doing this entire time in camp.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I think this is one of the no-brainers that actually came out of the Bears camp this whole entire summer, right? That they're playing the majority up until the first half, at least the whole majority of the first half on Saturday against the Browns. And you're right. Take it with a grain of salt to a point, right? See what they do with the first team starters on defense. We don't know if they're going to play everybody to its entirety, but we do know that the team really needs some snaps. It's a new offense. It's new players. Even the offensive line has to gel some way somehow because, I mean, if there's stories, I mean, the Bears had stories galore for the whole entire summer of not only of a new front office, and a new head coach, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, the Roquan Smith situation, the lack of wide receivers, the talent, the this and that, and a third, but also the Tevin Jenkins story, the offensive line, how it's going to look, that they brought offensive linemen to try out and sign and so on and so forth. So the Bears had a really busy offseason starting from the firing of Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, and it just continued throughout the whole entire year, from the hiring process on. But this is actually one of the stories that I think we all, as Bear fans, kind of agree. And it's kind of weird too, because remember, back then it used to be four preseason games, and now they switched it back to 3. So normally everybody would have taken last week's game, week 2 preseason, as week 3, and this one as obviously the final one. But I'm okay with this. Injuries is going to happen. I'm cool with it. I'm great with it. But you're right. We need to see a lot more of this offense. We know what Mooney and Montgomery and Fields can do because we saw it last year. But what about everybody else? What about the new offensive line? What about, who else is going to pop up as your wide receiver number 2? Cole Kmet. How's Cole Kmet going to be? He looked good last week against Seattle.
He did.
I saw it. You saw it. We all saw it. Right? He looked good in the few snaps that he had. But now let's see more. There's nothing wrong with – I see nothing wrong with this. I absolutely saw nothing wrong with this. I think the defense – the whole starters on both sides of the ball, even special teams, should play up until the first half. So what you can see, or what can you see out there, right? So, I mean, it's good. I want to say I haven't even looked at the comments. What we got going on in the comments?
So John, over under. John says he sees a 4,000 passing yard season for Justin Fields. Eric, over or under, man? 4,000 passing yards for
what was worse, my win total or his prediction in passing yards?
I think John's being he's definitely joking here. You were dead serious, and you can't say otherwise with your win total of 11 wins for the Bears. Well, I'm starting to feel a change here. I think you're flipping a little bit. Can I ask you? Do you seriously still think they're going to win 11 games?
I thought I said 10. I said 11. I'm sticking with 11. I
You
thought it was 10, but we'll go with 11. I still believe that this team is going to be weirdly good,
still
awfully
drinking, huh?
competitive because the schedule presents it to you. Until I see otherwise, or unless Justin Fields goes down, which is a possibility. I hope not. Knock on wood. Knock on every wood that I have. That's the only way I can see that this team is not going to win more than what you guys have said, which was like 5-6 games the most. I honestly, the schedule presents itself that way, Jose. I can only go based off what I see in the schedule and what I know from these teams that have so-called upgraded or not. I'm still at the 10-win game margin for me.
Yeah, you're
but
right.
I'm also a realist when I see things around. It's kind of like, okay, well, maybe I did, probably jump the gun a little bit, but I'm more confident in them winning 10 games than I am.
There's no way in hell you just said the Bears are going to win 11 games and then said I'm also a realist. That's literally contradicting yourself at the highest level. There's no way.
It is.
The Bears are going to
my
win.
Boy Isaiah right there saying that the Bears are making the playoffs. See, there's one on me. He's all aboard on me with this winning playoff thing, man. So I got one. I know I'm trying to convince CP because I want to have a party too. CP,
Isaiah, what's up, my boy?
And this train conducting on the playoffs, man. It's gonna be a fun one.
I personally want the Bears to make the playoffs, only because it's more money in my pocket. Now, however, I'm also a fan, right? But I'm also but like what you said, I'm a realist. I'm a real realist. Okay, I'm a realist, and I know damn well they're not going to make the playoffs this year. I would love them to. It would be fun. Don't get me wrong. I think they're going to be a better team than they were, under Matt Nagy and them.
Right.
But I just still think there's too many holes in his defense and offense. There's a lot of flaws. The offensive line really, really has to show something here now. But I do think Justin Fields take this next step. Somebody said in the comments that he takes the leap. I agree with them. 100%. And I mean, look, John said it himself. Our counterpart, right? He says we're gonna look like a great 5-win team. I give them 6 wins. I'd say they're gonna win 6 games.
10.
I think they're the better Lions from last year. I think they're gonna win 6 games, but every single game that they lose are gonna be close games. I'll give you that.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, I really do.
That'll make me feel better.
I hope most of the if you want to say those losses translate into wins, I'm okay with that. At least they'll be battle tested right throughout the whole entire season. I'm good with that. But I just feel, I don't know. I just have this weird feeling in me that the Bears are going to surprise everybody in the NFL and just make noise. I don't know what it is. I just have this weird feeling in me that the Bears can be better than what people are presuming, simply because like this new first year, fresh, new house type thing vibe going, and everybody's working out. I honestly do believe it. Maybe I'm still saying double digits. I'm saying 10. I thought if I said 11, cool, but for sure 10. I don't know. Maybe I was a little high or something, but 10 for sure. 11. If I get 11, then hell, I'm a genius.
Look, but here's the thing. If the Bears are, if the Bears,
Raven moment,
right, for real. If the Bears are going to get 11 wins, or not even that, if the Bears are going to be like that, what you said, like the team that makes noise, it's going to be because Justin Fields lights this league on fire. That's the reason why, because he literally not just takes the next step, not just takes the leap. This guy jumps. He's all the way up there, and he goes to the next level basically, and proves why he was the best quarterback coming out that draft. And I think that's the only reason. That's the only way I can see it. Otherwise, it's gonna be pretty tough for this Bears team to even smell 11 wins. CP in the comments, Matt Eberflus does seem to have the Bears in check. They seem more disciplined. That's true. I believe in that. Than they would be under Nagy, based on what I've seen in the first 2 preseason games. And it's a glaring, it's noticeable. It's very noticeable for sure. But he does go on and say 11 wins are wild, Eric. I agree 100%. He said, "Thank you, Jose. Realist, my ass, right, Eric? Realist." My boy Isaiah, what's up? He even laughing at you, Eric. He says, "Really, Eric?" But CP does go on and say Eric is having that's so Raven moment. Maybe we should listen. Maybe. He said he believes the best out of those group of QBs drafted last year. You know what? One thing that I would say, and one thing that going to my point and going to Eric saying that the Bears can make a noise and can take a step up, and I mentioned Justin Fields would be the reason, and if that does come to fruition, Eric, I think Luke Getsy has a lot to do with it. It's no secret how gifted this guy is when it comes to just the quarterbacks that he's played with. I mean he's coached a la Aaron Rodgers, right? And everybody in that Green Bay, since everything that I've been reading and hearing on the radio, that man was legit. Like they truly missed him in Green Bay, and for the players who played under him, they said this guy is legit 100%. And you could kind of see it with Justin Fields. You already see growth in these first 2 preseason games. So I definitely think that he's going to take a next step forward. I think Luke Getsy has a lot to do with that.
Oh yeah, and that's where I think the difference is, right? And you just alluded, the difference is there. The difference is this 10-win season that I'm predicting is because of that reason only and that reason only, right? The only thing that's going to suck about it though is like if that does happen, how quickly would Luke Getsy's name will be out there for a coaching job?
Here's the thing: two curses that the Bears always have every year when they're good. 2 curses. We have a better defense than we have offense. That's one, right? We always have a better defense than we have offense, and the other is that our offensive coordinator or whoever, or whenever we have a good one or something like that, they're gone immediately.
Yeah. And I mean, I hope he actually ends up staying, and finds a job or something, or and takes hold of this job for the remainder of his contract or something like that. But I understand, look, there's only 30 head coaching jobs in the NFL. So when they come calling, it's enticing and it's something serious. But it would just be great for not only for the production of Justin Fields, but also the Chicago Bears in general too as well. So
exactly, never CP. They never had a better year where their offense was better than the defense. However,
first year Mark Trestman.
Yes, I was just gonna point that out.
Mark Trestman. As much as we hate to say that with that name in general,
they were top 3.
They were the top 3 offensive team in NFL in passing and yards and rushing, all that good stuff. But they were in that bottom half of defense.
Think about that year. Jay Cutler, he was throwing to Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Marshall, Martellus Bennett. You still had Matt Forte as your running back. They were pretty good. You can't forget those guys.
No, you cannot. And I think that was probably like the only year that we could think of that the offense was great. Yeah. And then after that, just
100%.
Big nosedive to the bottom.
Well, Josh McCown also had a lot to do that year. With
True. We forgot about it. About McCown, but still, man, if anything about that season that we remember the most outside of a great offense is the last game against the Green Bay Packers and goddamn Chris Conte.
Dude, that game literally broke my heart. I don't think you guys, if you guys remember that game, Julius Peppers was so close to sacking Aaron Rodgers, so close, and then Chris Conte just blown coverage. And was it Randall Cobb who was just wide open in the red zone, just touchdown, game over?
Yep.
I wanted to cry out of anger. I was so angry I wanted to cry. It wasn't cry of sadness. No, it was anger. So much anger in me that I just wanted to just blow everything up. It was wild. I can't believe it.
Yeah. I remember exactly where I was at too. It was with my buddies. With my buddies John, Josh, Miguel.
JCA guys, huh? No.
Yeah, the other guys. Yeah, we were at his crib watching that game, and we had like a Packer fan or two in there. And I remember when we scored that touchdown towards the very end, all that stuff. Like, yeah, it was for that playoff berth. It was just to win the NFC North.
Yeah, whoever wins was in.
Winning in.
And the other team was out. It was literally for that spot.
It literally was. And they switched that time slot. I remember they switched that time slot because that game was originally supposed to be a 12 o'clock game. And they switched it for a 325 game on Fox.
It was 325.
Yeah, it was America's Game of the Week.
America's Game of the Week.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always heartbreak with us. It's always the heartbreak.
And what hurt even more was that it was the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he said he owns us last year.
True. I mean, and he wasn't lying. He to this day. I mean, as weird as that dude is, and as much as hallucination pills that he takes, or hamachufa, whatever you call it,
Hey, you know what? Hey,
whatever meditation, whatever, all these type of different names, weeds and stuff like that. This dude's just he could play football. He owns the Bears.
Look, you got don't make fun of those hallucination pills, those LSD pills, Eric. Okay, like they're supposed to open up your third eye. Okay, when they open up your third eye, you get to see a whole bunch you don't see in a regular day. Okay,
I believe it. It is whatever. I mean, hey, dude owns the Bears, but he gets owned by the NFL every year in the playoffs. So
and it was fourth down exactly.
It was fourth down. Yeah,
it was fourth down, and Chris Conti. Chris Conti.
Yep, the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Guys, you can always join us. The link is right on there in the comment section if you guys want to come in and join us, talk about sports, talk about the Chicago Bears, or any other sports topic. If you guys have any questions, just put it on the chat or join us, and make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. And am I missing something else, Jose? I think that's pretty much it, right? I cover all the social medias?
Yes. I do have a question, though. The question is, between that play and the double doink, what was more disappointing?
Oh no, losing to the Packers will always. That one always. That double doink to me.
That was to get us in the playoffs. The double doink was in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, the double doink if the Bears, I think that would have probably been the Bears' only win in the playoffs, anyways, if that would have happened. To be honest with you, because I felt like them going to. I think they were going to go to Los Angeles next.
2018, you're saying that would have been their only win?
Yeah.
Eric, we would have faced the Rams after that. And a Rams team that we had already beaten in the regular season.
The Rams team that we would have gone to Los Angeles. Everybody's forgetting the fact that the Bears play the Rams here in Chicago in December.
It was literally the lowest scoring game of the season.
Yes, I know.
Yes. But again, but regardless of the fact that that Bears team defensively was still one of the best defenses in the league,
and I understand that.
And we're talking a Los Angeles Rams team led by Jared Goff, not Matthew Stafford.
No,
okay?
Cooper
Kupp wasn't Cooper Kupp back then.
I understand that, and I hear you guys 100%. But the difference is that the game would have been played in Los Angeles instead of here in Chicago.
Even better for the Bears.
The only difference is I know defense could go on the road and dominate too as well, but that would probably been the only win because that offensive team wasn't all that great.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all.
I do. Like I said, the losing to the Packers against the players, that one hurt a little bit more.
No, there's no way we would have beaten the Rams and made it to the Super Bowl for sure.
And
then we would have lost.
Hell no.
We would have lost in the Super Bowl. We at least would have made it.
I mean, look at the bright side. I mean, if that would have happened anyway, the Rams went into the Super Bowl that year. So whatever.
You're only saying no because Mitch Trubisky was the quarterback of that team. Let's be honest. And there's no bigger hater of Mitch Trubisky than you.
He's gonna lose his job to a rookie. What can I say?
You don't know that. He looks pretty damn good in the preseason.
Never mind. That's a whole nother podcast that we're gonna get into.
We can get into it right now. It's not like we can get into it right now. It's fine.
Look.
Over under who starts more games. Oh no. Over under who wins more games for their team respectively, or which team wins more games respectively under their quarterback? The Steelers with Trubisky or the Bears with Fields?
The Bears with Fields.
There's no way.
There's hella way.
The Steelers have a way better team than the Bears do right now.
That's fine and dandy, but Trubisky doesn't make them better. I'm telling you. Look, I'm saying this right now. Trubisky will be the Week 1 starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Trubisky will lose that starting job by Week 2. After Week 2, he's only going to play 2 games. 3 tops. You know what? I'll give him some respect. He'll play 3 games and then he'll lose his job.
I think the difference is obviously the coaching.
Well, yeah,
he's in a way better organization. I think he'll play at least 6 games. 6 games, guys. How many games did Trubisky play this year before?
That's a good one. Over and under.
I say 6. 6 games. Just like the Bears win. The Bears win total for me. 6 games.
I say 3. I honestly do say 3.
Yeah, boy Andre Welch is saying, yeah.
What up, Juice?
He's going to play at least 5. I agree. 6 games.
5. No, I honestly do believe it's 3. He's going to have that one game where it's very Mitch-like. 8 for like 19 for like 67 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, a lot of underthrows, a lot of overthrows, and then here comes Pickett, and it's all over from there. But Trubisky does not see the field unless Pickett gets hurt. That's it. That's it. Come on, man. Tell me that doesn't sound like a Mitch game to you.
We'll see. We'll see. I think he's a lot better than we give him credit for. You got to remember who he played under over here. And then he did have a year under that amazing team in Buffalo, and now he's with an even better coach than both the organizations that he was in, and Mike Tomlin. So I think if anything, he gets better than what we've seen. Just based off where he's at alone and where he's been in this last year. But that's just me, and I digress, right? You guys are listening to the JCA Sports Podcast alongside Eric Avila. My name is Jose Contreras. We are talking the Chicago Bears because that's the only team that matters right now in Chicago. The Cubs don't matter.
Damn.
Even though I'm going to see them tomorrow play the St. Louis Cardinals.
Nice.
The White Sox,
they're winning 6-1 right now.
The White Sox don't matter because regardless of what they do, and even if they make the playoffs, I'm sorry, John, I love you, but they're not going to win a damn thing because they don't look like that team. They don't look like the team that they were supposed to look like, so they don't matter. And the Bulls haven't started yet. So the Blackhawks, we don't even talk about Blackhawks when they're good. What makes you think we're going to talk about Blackhawks when they're bad? I love hockey. I love the Blackhawks. We're not there yet. Okay, so
damn,
the Chicago Sky though are they still? See, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't follow women basketball like I should. I don't.
Where's Deontay? Where's Deontay?
Where's Deontay when you need him?
Where's Deontay when you need him?
But I should because they're if anything, they're probably the best team in Chicago. Because they won a championship last season, so I'm pretty sure they're in the playoffs too, unless they got eliminated already. But my mind, but
way to go there, Jose. Wow, Jose, way to go there, bro. Way to go there.
Okay, but that's the thing, right? Like, I wish we were as spoiled as Boston fans. Let's be honest here. The Bruins, the Patriots, the Red Sox, those are winning organizations. Like, those are, and that's just, and I haven't even mentioned the Celtics, who made it to the finals last year. That's a winning sports town. Those guys know, they know how to win championships. That's all they do in Boston. They're spoiled. I wish we were Boston, but we're not. We're Chicago. We're the third largest market in the city, in the country, and yet our last championship was in 2016. That window was supposed to be open. Before that, we had the Blackhawks. They did us great. But then before that, it was the Bulls in the 90s, and the Bears haven't won a championship in 1985. So it's like,
what are we doing? You don't mention 05. You
know what? Is that even relevant right now? I forgot all about the White Sox.
I mean, you're not the only one. Nationally, they do too. Hey, man, look, I get what you're saying, man, and it is a sad place that we're in. To be honest with you, we're in sports hell. We don't get anything right because our owners are cheap bastards.
Well, it doesn't help either that there's one owner for two of the Chicago teams. You know what I mean? And they're both in the same boat. It seems like
they're mediocre at best,
right.
If that. And mediocre at best, man. Because you're right. Because I mean, let's have that conversation. The White Sox were supposed to, where it was everybody's golden pick, not only here in Chicago but nationally, to win it all because they had it in the team. The team had it. They supposedly had depth. They supposedly had great pitching, and they upgraded it in bullpen. And yet they have lost what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have lost 5 out of the last 6 games, and I think right now they're up on the Orioles. I think it was like last time I checked, it was like 5-1 or something Orioles, like that. Bro. But it's a 5-3. They won. All right, so the Sox finally snapped their losing streak and beat the Orioles. A good baseball team, by the way. Where was I going with this? It's disappointing to say the least because all these high hopes that we had not we, because as you can see what I'm wearing, it doesn't say anything to how big of a fan I am of the Chicago White Sox, but I did pick them to win the World Series. Again, let me give myself a little pat on the back right here because I did pick them in the World Series. So I feel like this curse of them having a bad season is because of me. So I'm gonna take a little credit when I can. But even then, so man, even then, so it's disappointing to see. It's disappointing to see a team that can't hit, can't defend, pitching is suspect, mental errors, and their manager falls asleep in the first inning. Like it just. I mean, I know that that's a running joke because
That's
that
like
happened
80 years old,
a
bro.
few weeks ago and stuff like that. And I know the only person that could defend the White Sox is not here right now, in Jonathan Pelayo. So if there's any Sox defenders out there that wanted to defend their teams, because right now it's Sox bashing time between Jose and myself. But let's be completely honest here. Like, this team deserves the backlash that they're receiving, because the last week they came off sweeping the Tigers and beating the first two games of that 4-game series against the Astros. And yeah, they lost a heartbreaker the third game of the series against the Astros, and then the bottom fell out of them. They were getting 20 some odd runs scored against them, losing that bad and having a losing streak at that most, losing 2 games to the Guardians that are ahead of you in your own division. And then you come to losing 2 other games against the Orioles, and you finally won another game on top of that. But you know what's the best thing about that, Jose? Everything that I just said about the Chicago White Sox, right? They are only still 3.5 games behind those same Guardians to make the playoff spot.
Yeah, but that has more to say on how bad this division is, Eric.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. I know that.
Because if the Guardians were a good team, they would have by far, with all these Sox struggles, left them in the dust. But they can't even do that. That just tells you there's not going to be a World Series winner coming out the AL Central this year. I'm sorry. Or the AL Central, there's not going to be a team representing the AL Central in the World Series either.
True.
You know what I mean? Not by choice, but, just by, I guess, just division itself. There'll be a team in the playoffs, but that's just how it is in sports, in baseball at least too. But regardless of the fact, that's an easy win. Whoever comes to the AL Central is going to be an easy win. Point blank, period. I'm sorry. I hate to say it.
You're not lying.
You know what I mean? And you guys can call us Sox haters. We are Sox haters. I'll be the first to admit it. But I'm also
definitely a Sox hater.
But I really am a realist, because I have come on this show and give the Sox the credit whenever it's due and whenever it's needed. And they played. They had some good games. They had some good stretches, but they're just very inconsistent. No, they're consistent. They're consistently inconsistent this season. And that is just the White Sox in general. And
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The Cubs have a longer winning streak than the White Sox have all season long, and that's saying something. The Cubs suck. Yeah, I'm sorry, they do. But if I'm telling you, like, if the Sox played with half of hard work and dedication that the Cubs give, even with lack of talent, the Sox would have been in a way better position this year than years prior. Now I get it. Look, we're gonna hear the same thing over and over. Injuries held us down. Pitching wasn't there. Yada yada yada. This isn't that. But in the beginning of the season, we all said, and we said it, pretty proudly, that the White Sox had depth. That their depth is the reason why they were the best team, or they were going to be one of the best teams in baseball. And when it came down to that depth, apparently it wasn't good enough. Now, I don't know how far of a stretch I'm going to take this, but this White Sox team gives me 2018 Chicago Cubs. A team that was broken offensively, can't hit. They were only known for hitting home runs, and if they don't hit home runs, they were not going to win. They can't pitch them way out of the games. They can't do this. I mean, defensively, they were better. The Cubs were better in 2018 than the current White Sox. I mean, I don't think we got run down on a triple play for some odd reason from center field to third or second, but whatever. I digress on everything that I'm saying right now with that. But they're just giving me a team that just can't put it together anymore. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong, but that's very telling when it comes to someone like Tony La Russa. Because again, you were brought here to do the complete opposite of what we're seeing. You were brought here so this team can be a lot more disciplined than they are this season. This team was supposed to be better developed under Tony La Russa. I get it. It's hard to develop anything when half your roster is missing. I don't know whether to put on him or not because they haven't had this much of a curse injury wise since he and his coaching staff stepped in. So, but again, that could lead to anything. That could be more of the discipline side, right? Like how are these guys taking care of themselves? Yada yada yada. That's again, it's telling because that around 2018 was around when we started to see the almost the end of an era when it came to the Chicago Cubs and the Joe Madden regime sort of.
Yeah.
So I personally think Tony La Russa is going to come back next season because I don't think Jerry's willing to blow it up just yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if the White Sox, because they're to me the season's over with already. Even if they do make the playoffs, Eric, they're not going to win it. So I mean, I'm just waiting for the day. I'm just waiting for the day they get eliminated, and it's it, right? It's not going to be a surprise to me. Everyone's going to be disappointed, but I'm going to be like, yeah, well, I saw that coming. You know what I mean?
I think we all saw that coming.
Right. So to me, it's going to be like, okay, I'm just waiting for that to happen, and hopefully they could restart next season. But I think next season will be La Russa's last season if things don't get together right away.
I mean, do you really want that lame duck season for Tony La Russa, which this year is probably like the most criticized?
He's gonna come back though, Eric.
But like all the criticism that came with him, I'm like, you're up. Like, I mean, this is the second time I've never, in my years of knowing baseball, not playing but knowing baseball, in all my years, I've never seen a pitcher up on the count with 1 ball and 2 strikes, and then they intentionally walk the batter with 2 strikes.
I think
that hasn't happened once. That happened twice already in the same season.
And yet he's still going to be back. The only way he's not back is if he retires himself. If he's like, you know what, maybe I'm not as good as I used to be. Let me walk away from this. That's the only way I see that happen. Otherwise, he's going to come back.
And I feel like the White Sox put themselves in a no-win situation because if that does happen, then who do you get as your manager? Because the managers that were available the year that you got Tony La Russa, I said go get Alex Cora. I said go get the manager of the Houston Astros that's there right now who went back, I believe. I said go for those guys, even though they were going to be suspended or they were suspended for the year for cheating, winning World Series. I would rather have that instead because one, they're young and up-and-coming managers on this young and up-and-coming team. But guess what? They recently been coaching instead of being out of the game for 10 years and being in front offices, but it hasn't been in the dugout. And the game, you can tell, Jose, I think I've watched more Sox baseball than I have Cubs baseball, but that's not because by choice. That's because I don't have the marquee network. So I listen to the Cubs game on on the Score. But I don't watch the games. But every time I see the White Sox, I feel like there's always something missing. And we said it. It's been left-handed batting situation. Well, all I hear is we have 2 or 3 switch hitters, but they're not pure left-handed hitters because they also work on the other side of the plate. They don't have that. I mean, I'm saying names right now, but like Jason Hayward's and the Anthony Rizzos of what the Cubs had in their run, but they don't have that. What's this dude's name? I think it's Gavin Sheets. Who came out, but he doesn't look like he plays every day. At least with the times when I see him, he's in and out of the lineup. So I mean, I don't see consistency, and I don't see this team developing. And I've always said it, and I'm still going to say this: that the worst signing that the Chicago White Sox did was signing Tony La Russa as their head coach. And I haven't been wrong.
You haven't been wrong.
They were better last year, supposedly, but it was the same thing with Ricky Renteria. It's basically Ricky Renteria with just credentials. But I felt like they would have been better with Ricky Renteria than they are with Tony La Russa.
I see why the White Sox did it. They tried to pull the Cubs where we had Dale Swayham.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Dale Swayham. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. When we had him, and then he didn't do that bad, actually. He wasn't a bad coach, but Joe Madden was available. Let's bring in him. He had credentials. And
yeah,
he at least took us to the promised land. The White Sox wanted the same thing. The difference,
I know
the difference was that Madden was still at least in the game, and La Russa has been gone for how long?
Exactly. It's really not the same thing. I mean, I get
No,
what you're trying to say.
it's not the same thing, but
I get where you're going. I understand
same
where you're
sentiment.
going.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
I get where you're going, but it's not the same thing. It's definitely not the same thing. It's
Oh yeah, we
not.
know that now. Yeah, we know that now.
I've been knowing that since the first day that they signed him, even way
You,
before we found out about him and his
you're,
DUI and wherever he was in Arizona or
you're a
wherever
White
he
Sox
was.
hater. Your White Sox hater goggles were also blinding you as well. Like Tony Russo, this could have been a good fit this could have been a good fit have he not been as old as he is.
I mean, if this was like 10 years ago, if this team was constructed, sure. But the way that this team was constructed, I even said it. Like, even when the name Tony La Russa came out, I was still not a fan of it. Not even for that team. And I'm not even a Sox fan. And you could go back to prior podcasts right before we even had this conversation. I was adamant in saying, do not get Tony La Russa just because he's a Hall of Fame coach and all this and that and World Series player, World Series winner, manager, all that in a bag of chips. I still said stay away from him because it's been a long time since I think, and it wasn't even my Sox hater goggles. It was literally just the baseball thought that I had in my head of knowing the sport. Like, this guy wasn't really up to par for this team because he didn't fit.
If Tony La Russa was a bag of chips, which one would he be, Eric?
The Sun Chips, the ones that nobody really gets.
Really? I'm not a fan of the Frito Lays ones. I think he'd be a Frito Lays bag chips guy. I kind of feel like whenever you get those like variety kids pack, those are always the ones that are left in the box. Nobody wants.
I don't mind Fritos. I mean, they're all right. I mean,
they're right. I don't think people mind Tony La Russa, but then when he does what he does, you're kind of like, I mean, I think
he's a real sour cream and onion type of guy.
I was a fan of sour cream and onion back in the day. I don't have the taste for it anymore. You know what? Maybe you're right. Just like La Russa, you're a fan of him back in the day. You just don't have a taste for him anymore. There you go. Sour cream and onion chip kind of guy. Totally
sour cream and onion.
And that's the type of analysis you get here in the JCA Sports Podcast.
The only time we compare food to managers here at the JCA Sports Podcast. Are you done with your fantasy football drafting, or you still got more to go?
No, yeah, I have two more drafts. I have one this Friday, and then of course the one with John on Sunday, his league. But now I'm invested in these chips comparison with managers. I think we should compare every Chicago coach or manager we have today. Since we did the White Sox, what about the Cubs and David Ross?
Oh, that's a good one. I want to say it's Cheetos, but just the original Cheetos.
Really?
And the only reason why it's like you like them, but you don't like them that much. But you have him, but they're there, and you're like, okay, I guess I'll have a bag of chips of Cheetos.
See, that's the Lay's, the original Lay's for me. I like them; they're good, but it's not my first option. It's like I'd rather go for the for the spice or for the flavor, and I don't think those are it. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean. Yeah.
What about Chicago Bulls coach and
Billy Donovan?
Billy Donovan, yeah.
I think it's one of those. Oh, that's a good one, man. Why are we doing this? This is great. This is awesome. Can I say Flamin' Hots? Like, is Flamin' Hots a thing? Because I feel like that's the hottest coach on here at the moment, simply because of what he has as a team around him with Levine and DeRozan and Lonzo and everybody else around them. So can I say Flamin' Hots? Is Flamin' Hots a good one?
I think so. I think that's a good one. I wouldn't go Flamin' Hots, to be honest with you. I think if I'm gonna pick chips, I think it's the cheese puffs, which is a fan favorite for a lot of people. The Cheetos cheese puffs are a fan favorite, just like Billy Donovan is. However, you can't eat cheese puffs with everything. And if Billy Donovan doesn't get this team in shape, he's gonna be gone too. That's why I compare them. See, I would do a Doritos, maybe the blue ones, the Cool Ranch.
The Cool Ranch ones, okay.
Yeah, I think the Cool Ranch is a good fitting for
that's a good one. That's a good one.
I think because he's a great coach, but he's not the best coach.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of coaches in the NBA that you would rather have. You know what I mean? Steve Kerr, that's like a barbecue chip kind of. Barbecue chips are the best chips to me, and that's good with everything. That's a Steve Kerr kind of chip right there.
Steve Kerr. All right, that's a good one. I'll give you that one. That one. That's a good one.
Matt Eberflus.
That one's a little tough, isn't it? I can't even think of a chip right now to think of Matt Eberflus. It's just
Me
like
neither.
they're there, but you're still afraid to taste them because you haven't had a taste of it yet. You know
All
what
right,
I mean?
I got a good comparison since you put it that way. See, I had recently bought these chips the other day. They're Lay's, right? But they're the flaming hot barbecue version. It has Jason Tatum on the bag, right? And to me, I was like, you know what? This looks like this looks like it's gonna be good, but I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. You know what I mean? I think that's definitely Matt Eberflus. Now, I did taste them, by the way, and I did like them. Will I buy them again? Maybe not because I'm more of a barbecue kind of guy, but I did enjoy it. So I'm hoping same goes for Matt Eberflus. I'm hoping I enjoy what he brings to the table. You know, and I guess that's it, really.
I look at can I say a brand instead of the chips
Go ahead.
like the Miss Vicky's chips. Like I know they're there, and I was like I've seen them. I kind of want to taste them because of the flavors that they have as chip wise, but I don't know yet if I should venture out just yet.
I think the Blackhawks coach. I don't even know his name.
I don't even know they even. I thought it was still Quinville.
I think he's the hot fries that everybody like. The only reason why I say is because he gave up so much already that
Mm,
I think I think he's the hot fries. I'm not a hot fry fan, so
I think he's like a Pringles. Like he's there, and you know they're there, but you won't get it.
I like Pringles. I like the pizza ones.
I haven't had Pringles in oof. I don't even know when the last time I had Pringles.
Hmm.
I look at them as Pringles. Pringles is a good one.
There you go. Well, there. Well, I'm glad we had this conversation. We learned a lot today.
We learned that coaches and chips go together. That's
What's your favorite chips, Eric?
it. Okay, so I'm weird. Okay, I don't normally go for a bag of chips just to eat them. I need to have a sandwich,
Okay.
right? That's the only way
What's
I
your
eat
go-to
chips.
chips for a sandwich?
Barbecue chips all day, every day.
Who is a barbecue chip kind of coach? It could be from anywhere.
Ooh, from anywhere?
Yes.
You talking about anywhere?
Oh,
Oh,
he's gonna pick soccer. I
I
shouldn't have said
am.
that.
I'm really am gonna go there. I would say
All right, do one for the soccer fans that are watching, and then do one for the regular fans, the normal fans.
I want to. I don't know what it is, right? I feel like playing for this coach will probably be the like almost. I don't. There's oh my god, there's a lot. I would love to see what like Jurgen Klopp, what type of coach he is. You know, Jurgen Klopp. Obviously, I seen Pep coach. I've seen the All or Nothing for Manchester City when he was a coach for Man City when they did it for Amazon. I saw that he looked like he's a very detail oriented guy. But I always want to know what it feels like to be coached by Jurgen Klopp. Even before Liverpool days, I like when he was with Bruce Dortmund.
So is that your barbecue chip kind of
That's
guy?
like my barbecue chip.
There you go. All right, now someone normal in a real sport.
Someone normal. I mean, he's normal as they come. You talking about like you want me to dumb it down and
No, no,
like
no, no,
sports
no,
here in
no,
the
no.
states, huh?
I want you to come back to real sports, right? Back
I
to
mean, that
reality,
is a real sport overseas.
back to America.
Uh, um, ooh, the one coach that I don't know. I want to stay out of Chicago. Like, okay, I really do. And if I would want to,
Well,
you know
yeah,
who would be? Bobby Valentine. Bobby Valentine. Something out of the norm. You know, I could have gone Nick Saban. You know, I think how everything is.
Nick Saban's
Nick,
definitely a barbecue kind of
Nick
guy.
Saban, Nick Saban type of thing. Yeah, I would have done that. But yeah, Bobby Valentine. Not just barbecue chips. I don't think barbecue chips per se, but like he's like a Lay's limon type of thing. Like they're there, and you want to do something a little different, and so you put the chips in your sandwich and you eat them like that. He's the Lay's limon. That's how I Bobby Valentine.
I do that with spicy nacho Doritos. You know what I mean? They just hit different sometimes. But I digress.
We have done something completely different and out of the norm here in the JCA Sports Podcast. But hey, that's what you get. We're here every week, or at least we're gonna be here now and back every week. And our normal scheduled program on Monday and on Wednesdays. Don't forget to tune into Sports Trip Live in about half an hour with the
No, we come on in 10 minutes. We good.
Upset on UFC, huh, Jose?
Yes, we have a lot going on today, guys. As you know, UFC was over the weekend. Shocking blow and upset win as Leon Edwards is now the new welterweight champion as he knocked out Kamaru Usman after losing the entire fight, Eric. Last round, 54 seconds left in the fight, and he just kicks him in the face, and Usman's out. That's it. It's done. So we're going to talk about that and talk about what happens next, who Leon Edwards should face after that. We're going to talk we're going to have a lot of wrestling to talk about. I mean, so much.
Speaking of wrestling, man, I've been intrigued.
Yes, Johnny Gargano is back in WWE. Kenny Omega came back. Is there a real feud between CM Punk and Hangman Adam Page and AEW? This is legit kind of stuff. A lot to talk about. We're going to talk about a little bit of boxing. There was some boxing over the weekend with Usyk and Joshua fight. So definitely tune in, guys. It's going to be a really good show.
Yeah, definitely. And again, you can see us every Monday and Wednesday here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, the JCA Sports Podcast on all our social media platforms under John Conavi or mainly John Conavi on Facebook, and then JCA Sports on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. Guys, make sure you hit the bell on the John Conavi Facebook page just so you get notified when our show is on, but not only just our show, my soccer podcast, and also Sports Trip Live that's coming up next here on Facebook with the Contreras brothers. For Jose Contreras, myself, Eric Avila, we will see you guys next week. If you guys are drafting this week, good luck on your team. Hopefully you guys get it. Hopefully you guys get a good squad. And also the Bears as they play Saturday against the Cleveland Browns for their final preseason game. We're going to get into that all next week. That and many much more here on the JCA Sports Podcast. And as always, Jose!
Yes, sir.
Hit that outro, buddy.
What a finish! Wow, that is unfreaking believable. What a way for a ball game to end.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh, that's terrible. My God. The humanity.
They may be the drunkest couple in the history of sporting events.
I loved his face.
I would suspect that man is done for the night. Here's the thing. When you steal something, don't wear it.